Peace and blessings, Dharma Shakti here. Happy Monday. Thank you for tuning in. I hope your week is off to a great start. And if it isn't, don't worry, you still have plenty of time to turn it around. Today's quote is, if you would like to change your life, you have to change the way you think. It's such a simple quote and it's such a simple concept, but I know how hard it is. Look, if you want to change your life, you have to change the way you think about yourself. If you want to change your life, you have to change the way you've been thinking about your past. If you want to change your life, you have to change the way that you've been thinking about your circumstances. If you want to change your life, you have to change the way you've been thinking about your future. Often, when it comes to ourselves, we think that we're not enough. We have a slew of not enoughness things that go on. We're not smart enough, we're not experienced enough, we're not capable enough, we're not talented enough, we're not pretty enough, we're not handsome enough, we're not tall enough, we're not short enough, whatever. The list goes on and on and on of our not enoughness. We often think about our past negatively. We look back with resentment, with frustration, with hurt, with sadness, right? With bitterness. We have to change the way that we look at our past. It has to happen. We have to look back at our past and change the way that we think about our past. We have to learn to be grateful for the challenges. We have to learn to have gratitude for the people who really triggered us and activated us because they taught us many, many lessons. Right? They gave us opportunities to make big changes in our life. Sometimes the most sorrowful things, the most lowest part of our lives have the greatest gems. But if you're not looking at those difficulties in that way, you're never going to change your life. If you're looking at those difficulties the way most human beings do, because we're hardwired to do so, and we are looking back, as I was saying, with resentment, with sadness, with anger, with frustration, then your life is never going to change. But I guarantee you, the moment you can look back at a hardship in your life and be grateful for that hardship, the moment you can look back in your life at somebody who wronged you and be grateful for that moment or that experience, you will begin to change your life. Your life will begin to change. We have to learn to look at our future differently. We have to look at our future, our dreams and our goals and our visions for ourselves differently. Right? A lot of us start off with inspiration, but the moment we get into the nitty-gritty of it, we think, I can't do this, I don't have enough time, I'm not qualified, who am I to think I could be doing that? That'll never happen. You know, we have all kinds of ways that we sort of avoid the journey to our greatness because we are looking at it through the lens of I can't, or I shouldn't, or I'm not capable enough, and so many other ways. We have to change the way that we look at things, right? If we want to change our lives. And so, my friends, I just encourage you because I know that this is it's not an easy task. I know, especially when we're so conditioned to think the way we've been thinking and to look at life through the lens that we've been looking at life with. It's like, we got to put on a new pair of glasses, a new pair of lens at which we look at life to change the way we look at things. And so, my friends, I just encourage you this week to first just observe, how have I been looking at things? How have I been thinking about things? Have I been looking at my past, thinking about my past with just not good feelings and negativity? How am I thinking about my circumstances? Am I being a negative Nancy, right, about stuff? Sorry if there's a Nancy out there watching. I probably shouldn't even use that little statement because those of you who name Nancy, I know you're not all negative people, but we'll just say pessimist, right? Am I being a pessimist? Or, some people don't say that they're a pessimist. They say, I'm not a pessimist, I'm just a realist. And it's okay to be honest about things and go, yes, I'm gonna be real. This is a difficult mountain that I have to climb here. This is a difficult moment that I got to get through, and it's not going to be easy. What we have to work on is changing the way we look at that thing. Do we say, it's going to be difficult, and so then I can't do it? Or we say, it's going to be difficult, but I'm going to try. It's going to be difficult, but I can muster up the courage. It may be challenging, but I believe in my ability to figure things out. We have to change the way we look at things. We have to. I mean, this is a big one for people. Often we look at things and we say, why is this happening to me? And for me, I had to adopt a new belief because this is something that I used to do a lot as well. Those of us who are stuck in the victim mentality. We think, why is this happening to me? Can you believe that person did that thing to me? Can you believe that this thing happened to me? Right? We're stuck in victim mentality. We have to start saying, why is this happening for me? Why is this happening for me? There's an opportunity here. This is happening for me. Even the most difficult of moments, this is happening for me. Why? Why is it happening for me? So we just take that little tiny bit of a shift of the way that we're looking at things, even the tiniest shift in the way that we look at things, right? Our life begins to change. Wayne Dyer says, when you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at begin to change. I mean, I can pull up so many quotes that are going to support this original quote that we started with today. Stephen Covey says, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. We have to change what's going on up here. Managing our mental energy and our mental dialogue is a huge one if you want to transform what is happening in your life. And the only way that you begin to transform that is by paying attention. Being observant of, how am I thinking about this situation right now? And is the way that I'm looking at this situation, is it supporting my growth? Is it serving me? And, I know it's difficult to be observant. And that's why practices like meditation and yoga are so beneficial and so crucial in your journey of transformation. Look, you're tuning into these messages because you're looking for transformation. You're not looking for change. Change is temporary. I can change my clothes. The weather is always changing. I can change my hairstyle. We can change a lot of things, and it's temporary. What we're looking for is transformation. That's permanent. When we have completely transformed something, it's permanent. And so you're tuning in because you're looking for transformation. And so I wouldn't be serving you if I wasn't telling you that you really need to dive into practices that allow you the capacity to observe the way you're thinking about things. We have to change the way we think if we want to change our lives. So I challenge you for this week to be observant of the way you're thinking about things. You have to become aware. Be observant. When you start, thinking about the past, just check in. How am I thinking about this? And is it serving me? When you're facing a circumstance and you're having those negative thoughts, is it serving me? Right? When you're thinking about your future and you start to get into those places of insecurity, is it serving you? We have to change the way we think. There's just no way around it. So my friends, I hope that this week you get more observant and you start to change and shift the way that you are thinking about your past, your current circumstances, your future, yourself. If you want to change your life, you have to change the way you think. You cannot continue down the same path and expect different results. You have to change the way you think. And I really, really recommend that you start with changing the way you think about yourself. Start loving yourself. Start accepting yourself. Start believing in yourself. And stop giving in to those negative thoughts. Because what we feed, when we feed our negative thinking, we grow our negative thinking. When we feed our positive thinking, we will grow our positive thinking. And what you don't feed, you will starve, and it will eventually die out. This leads me to one more quote that I can support this original quote with, which is a verse from the Yoga Sutras where Patanjali says, if you are being harassed by negative thoughts, you have to cultivate counteracting thoughts. He's talking about positive affirmations. And so what I really encourage you to do is this week, as you observe and as you are paying attention to the way that you're thinking about things, see if you can cultivate a counteracting thought. A counteracting thought that will, that you can affirm and replace, because we can't just cut out the negativity. We have to cut out the negativity and replace it with positivity. We have to replace it because our minds want to attach to something. And so if we just cut out negativity, we're going to attach to more negativity because we're hardwired for negativity. Unfortunately, as a survival mechanism, our nervous system and our brain is hardwired for negativity. So yes, we have to work extra, extra, extra hard to cultivate positivity in our lives. But my friends, it is so worth it. It is so worth all that hard work, and you are worth all that hard work, and you are worth fighting for. So as you observe yourself and you are noticing the negative thoughts that are reoccurring, for me it's, I've been through a lot of negative thoughts that I've had to change. One of them that I had to change was that I am not smart enough, and I'm not capable enough, and I'm not experienced enough. I guess it's more than one, but a lot of not enoughness. A big one for me was that I wasn't smart enough. And I had to change that. I had to change that thought that I was having about myself. And when I did, and it takes a while, just you're starting to affirm to yourself, I am smart, I am capable, I am able, I have intelligence, right? We have to start somewhere, and it may take a minute, but once you start to really embody it and you hear it enough, your mind begins to believe it, you begin to believe it, and then your life begins to transform. And I can tell you from experience, I've had to change so many of the ways that I think about myself and my life and my circumstances. Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? I've started saying, why is this happening for me? That's a big one. That was a huge one. Right? Not staying stuck in victim mentality, which is where I lived for a long time. And I would always be saying, why is this happening to me? It's not fair. But, by hearing other great people say these things, like Michael Beckwith, he would say, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. And, at first, it doesn't taste good to swallow that medicine. It's like, bullshit, no, it's happening to me, I don't deserve it. But you have to sit with this consciousness, with this ability to be consciously aware of, no, this is happening for me. And if I sit with it long enough, I will realize the lesson in this moment. And in that way, we can shift that circumstance around. And instead of happening to us, we can go, oh, there's a gift in this experience. There is wisdom that's coming from this experience. There are lessons to be learned that are coming from these experiences. And we can stop beating ourselves up for, not being smart enough to avoid the situation, and we can go, no, these are lessons that are gifts that I get to learn from, and why is this happening for me? So when we change the way that we think, we begin to change our lives. There's no change that is going to happen in your life if you continue to think the way you're thinking. We have to change the way we think. So I hope that this has helped you have some perspective and encouraged you to pay attention to your thought process throughout the week, long enough for you to just get a glimpse at what's going on and how you're functioning and how you're showing up to your life, so that you can begin to transform. Because my friend, I know that that's what you're seeking, and let me tell you, you deserve it. All the hard work is worth it, and if you're waiting for permission to pursue your greatness, permission is granted. You don't need it from me, you need it from yourself. Get to the work right now. Just get to the work, pay attention, observe, notice what's happening in your mind, start to make little changes in the way you're thinking, and you'll begin to see big changes happening in your life. I hope you have a great week. I hope that this video served you, and if it did, please drop me a comment below or share it with a friend, and I will see you next Monday.